This is the Shangri-La Stone Village, a miniature town built entirely out of natural materials from the earth around it. Stone, homemade cement, carved arrowheads, glass, and more, all used to build many miniature buildings, a total of 28, all representing everything that a village could need. And this entire stone village was all made by one 70-year-old man, who, after retiring, was driven to create a symbol of himself that would live on for decades. With a can of Coca-Cola and a cigar, a man built a miniature city. And here is the story of how. The story begins in the small, unincorporated town of Prospect Hill. And by small, I mean small. A town with a population of just 596 people. Some places in the town are even classified as historical sites. There's buildings like the Warren House and the Warren Store, which were both built in 1858. And after 167 years, they are still standing. And operational businesses. Other than a modern post office, this is really a village, and one of the last true villages in America. And lying in the heart of this small town resides a man named Henry L. Warren. In such small towns like these, where large plots of land and rich wildlife are plentiful, farming is one of the core ways to make a living. And he did just that, working as a tobacco farmer. That's what he spent many years doing. He worked until he was 72, when he decided to finally throw in the towel and retire. Retiring back to his quaint little home in the summer of 1968. But his greatest achievement would come later. He still wanted to work, not for money, but for himself, to make something great. He wanted to make something that he would be remembered by, to make something meaningful. And thus, he began to create a village made of stone. That year of 1968 would mark the beginning of this project. Usually equipped with a Coca-Cola and a cigarette, he would chisel stones, bricks, and gemstones from his own property and craft them into buildings, roads, windows, everything a town would need, crafted out of his own materials, even making his own cement to seal it all together, which he made in a wheelbarrow. He gathered most of the stones from a quarry down a hill behind his home, and despite being in his 70s, he would carry each and every stone up the hill on his own. And slowly, a village began to take shape, which he dubbed Shangri-La. The buildings range in size and scope, but the average height is 5 feet. He would build up many things, from water towers to tiny huts to pathways consisting of arrowheads lined up. When going to the village, something that immediately sticks out is the many toys and knickknacks scattered about. And this originated from Henry Warren. While making the village, he would go into town and find weird little items from old stores or flea markets, little toys, figures, knickknacks, and he would place them all around the town, making it feel so alive. And now, even today, people will bring their own toys or figures and place them around the town, keeping Shangri-La alive. Henry Warren continued, over the years, to build more and more. Since starting in 68, he would work for the next 9 years, building up the village. But sadly, in 1977, he passed away. He had completed a total of 27 separate buildings and structures. He had everything that makes a town a town. A church, a movie theater, a hotel, a mill, a prison, a fishing hole, a gym, a school, even a water tower. And before he passed away, he had been completing, ironically, a hospital, as possibly the final addition to the village. And after, in honor of him, his family worked together to finish the hospital, completing the village, even having given names to each building, like the Rocky Theater, the Little Brown Church, and the Dewdrop Inn. It's hard to say exactly how much stone, concrete, brick, gyms, or arrowheads are in the final village, but estimates say the tiny path alone required thousands of arrowheads, upwards of 11,000, each carved by hand. The craftsmanship in these buildings are truly marvelous. They were built with strong, durable materials like solid stone or hard crystals, and that has resulted in them surviving in near perfect condition ever since they were built 67 years ago. And even to this day, they look new. No different from photos taken of them in 1996. I suppose there really are no limits to what a Coke, a cigar, and passion can do. And unlike other attractions, there is no fee. It is free to all. The village is always open to visitors, at any time, for no money. Because, after all, this was never about the money. Henry Warren had retired after making more than enough money. Instead, this was made for something much, much more powerful. He named this village Shangri-La for a reason. It is based on a place from a novel by James Hilton titled Lost Horizon, which features an earthly utopia, isolated from the world, in peace and harmony. Henry Warren was diagnosed with cancer near the beginning of this project. At first, he was just going to make one building, but now knowing he had cancer, he decided to continue. To build and build, to create a place of peace and harmony. The closest he could get to making the world be at peace. And before passing, he requested one thing, something engraved in stone at the entrance of the village. Let me live in the house by the side of the road and be a friend to man. And he is doing just that.